Mindahi Bastida is founder of the Earth Elders. Welcome to EarthX, Mindahi.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me why the Earth needs elders.
Well, the elders need more the earth than the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
But we believe in the original instructions about reciprocity. We are the children of this beautiful planet that we call Mother Earth. It's just not the earth, it's Mother Earth because nurtures us, but elders acknowledge that as a way of reciprocity.
And so you founded this new, how do I call it? Do you call it an organization, a circle, a network? How do you describe the Earth Elders?
Let's say it's a spiritual acknowledgement of the sage elders that are close to this ancestral way of living. The ancestral way of living is living with the earth, not from the earth.
And there are many people around us when we leave this building that we're in. We come into a world where we don't recognize much of that wisdom.
Yes, and that's the problem because we take and take and take over and we don't respect. That's the reason harmony with this planet has been broken. And it has touched even the original peoples or the original nations or First Nations or Aboriginals. Because the way of living in this, at this time and space has been beyond imagination. And we think that we are just taking without giving back.
Of course, it's such a fundamental principle that you can't just take but have to give back. We all know this. I mean, even the people who grew up in the concrete jungles of the Western world, they know that in relationships, for instance, good friendships mean that you give before you take.
Yes.
And so people are familiar with it, I'm going to say. But then again, in their lifestyle, of course, the Western lifestyle, the dominant lifestyle, is clearly not following that principle of giving back. So how can you and your initiative help to reverse that? Or?
Yes, first of all, we need to recover that sense of the collective way of being.
Mm-hmm.
Because this notion of the individual has damaged so much our thinking that we believe that we are the peak of the creation. Mm-hmm. And we believe we are the masters of nature. Actually, we are just another species that we need to remember that we are among other many thousands and millions of species in this world. So the fact that we acknowledge that and that we are just another species, then we need to be more humble and to share and collaborate with other species, because other species collaborate with us, even if we don't acknowledge, but that's the way. So the notion of the individual is killing this way of living, the harmonious way of living.
But do you think we can still reverse that? Or does this end, and I don't want to be pessimistic, but does this end in a catastrophe that we can't avoid?
Well, let me tell you that, yes, we have the capacity and enough intelligence. We are not very intelligent, no. Actually, but the enough intelligence that we can reverse that and we can reconnect, remember who we are. But at this time, we have surpassed so many things, like we have taken over more than we should, that the lessons now are going to come from the natural and spiritual worlds to put us in the right place we must be at.
But it seems if I read the newspapers or I open my computer screen, I read about artificial intelligence or people want to travel to Mars. I mean, all kinds of things that don't help. I mean, what you're trying to say, which is wise and I agree with, so I'm not disputing that. But how do we get there?
Well, first of all, we need to recover the sense of family. In recovering the sense of family, how we are in this world, in connection with our parents or grandparents, and why we represent. We need to remember the roots, who we are. And then we have an identity. And when you have an identity, you love who you are. If you don't know who you are, how can you defend, how can you love the community where you are growing up? So then, recovering the family, you recover also the community. And recovering the community, you also recover the bioregional ecosystems, but also the biocultural sense of being, the biocultural memory, the biocultural heritage. Because when there is a heritage that you have to pass through to the future generations, it's not just delivering something, but being responsible about our acts.
It seems that a first condition to become whole again is to reconnect with nature.
It's reconnect with nature, and nature is inside us. Mm-hmm. Because who we are the expression of the elements of life, what we call sacred elements. In these traditions, the ancestral traditions, the water is not just as a resource, mm-hmm. It's a sacred element. But if you see constitutions, you see international regimes, water appears as a resource, mm-hmm. to handle, to manage, but actually it's a sacred element. And if we create public policies or policies that we interact with this being, because it's not a resource, it's a being, then we can interact in such a way that we have good relationship. Mm-hmm.
I think you were saying that Mother Earth will teach us, right?
Yes.
And so, but how does Mother Earth do that? Is that through the storms and the terrible natural disasters that keep happening and keep getting worse?
Yes, and more than that, because there is a energy, a consciousness energy that is like in the dream time. Mm-hmm. It's also in the spiritual world that we are, receiving those teachings. But of course, the fires, the floods, and whatever is happening, mm-hmm. the tornadoes, those are lessons, mm-hmm. of, or there's no harmony in that. And then there is like a warning. But are we listening? Are we learning enough? I don't think many people is learning.
No. So therefore, are you optimistic about where we're going?
We are always optimistic because we have been doing what we have been taught by our ancestors, by our grandfathers, grandmothers. But less and less people is doing that work. So that's the reason you have heard that 80% of biodiversity of the world is in original nations or native lands, native territories. But that's very true, but it's more than that. Because we are not just taking care about our territory. We have a relationship with other territories, and we take care about the 100% of biodiversity of the world. Mm-hmm. Because when we pray, when we walk, when we go to some other places, we also take care, give care to life system, to the way of living, which is not just the well-being, it's the good living, because it implies responsibility, not just respect, but responsibility.
So, Mother Earth speaks to us in dreams, in our dreams. Mm-hmm. What kind of dreams is Donald Trump getting?
Well, there's people so disconnected that not all of the humans will receive those messages. Uh-huh. But I believe we have all the potential to receive. Mm-hmm. And even people who are so disconnected, there is going to come the time when they have to listen or they receive those. If they are not responsible for their acts, then there is a lack of connection, lack of respect, and lack of evolution.
I mean, it's very hard to rebuild something, you know, that has been destroyed over decades, really, maybe even centuries. So, yeah, what is the path back? I mean, where does it start? I mean, is there a simple thing that any individual can do today that brings us back in the right direction?
Yes, my grandfather, my grandmother, my ancestors taught me how to live in harmony and to live in connection. For example, when you get up, you give thanks for the sun rays. And also at noon and at sunset. Just those little things to acknowledge that we are not alone, that this beautiful planet depends on around other bigger family. So that's how we reconnect little by little, and also walking through the forest, walking through the wetlands, walking by the river, give us that connection. And actually, the most beautiful moments that we have as humans is the connection with nature and the cosmos. Why we are here? What is the reason we are here as human species? We believe and we act in such a way that we think and act and feel. We are here for the care of life, for giving care of life, so life can flourish and continue.
It's interesting, right, that people who go to these beautiful places, the sunset on the beach, or they climb the mountain and they enjoy being there, but they spend most of their time when they get there taking pictures that they send on social media. I mean, they're not really there. They're just sending messages from there to the rest of the world.
But at least they have the moment. There's many, maybe millions of people that they don't have that opportunity. But at least those people who go once in a while to nature, or at least some seconds, some minutes, they have the little chance. So those are the moments that we need to regain in that beautiful connection with the sacred.
Yeah. So you come from central Mexico, and you have your environment, if you like, is intact to some extent. So you can go and walk in the forest, right? But what do you say to somebody who lives in Mexico City and who hasn't seen a tree in 10 years?
Yes, it's very sad what is happening, especially in the big cities, mega cities, that so many people just live by, not even by the day or the night. They just live in survival, and they don't have any chance to go and reconnect. So I would say that to anybody, go for a walk, reconnect yourself, talk with the elders, talk with the little ones, the children, because they also teach us. Because there's a way of reconnection around that. So instead of spending so much time on the devices, spend also time with family. Spend time with the trees. Spend time with the stars, with the sun, with the moon also. And that's the beauty of life, because we are here just for a while, not forever. So let's have this opportunity all together. And I'm always talking about we, because it's not just my problem. It's our problem.
So to that point, you know, you don't know, but I'm actually a very powerful man. So I can make you emperor of the world for like 1 minute. So if I make you now emperor of the world for 1 minute, then you can send in, you know, order one rule and say, well, this is, everybody's going to live like this. What would you say?
Love Mother Earth. Love Mother Earth, because we are the children of Mother Earth. How do you treat your mother? How do you treat the most lovely being that nurtures you? That's it. And then everything can change.
Thank you, Mindahi.
Thank you so much.